Chapter 1. Tiffany. Our eyes met. Shocks of light flew off our bodies like spark plugs. It was already like the 10th time today. About the 100th time of us being held captive by each other's gazes this month. It was agonizing. Jared Crawford had asked his assistant Melissa to call me 2 weeks after he fired me with an offer to get my job back because I'd managed to save his ass that was on the line due to a grave misunderstanding. And ever since my return, we'd fought our bodies to reject each other until it made me sick. Regardless of how much I resisted making eye contact with him, no matter where he was in a room, my body knew before my mind did, and my eyes would find him. The way my body reacted to his mostly gray hair with darker strands peeking through was unjustified, not to mention the way my pulse reacted to his deep brown eyes or his salt and pepper beard. I didn't want to swoon over his more youthful face with slight wrinkles more evident in his 3 years off from 40. I shouldn't have cared about how handsome he was because he was a pig. A handsome, mean pig of a man. He wasn't forgiven for the way he'd tossed me out of here like trash a mere few hours after he pleasured my walls with his long, hard rod. It shouldn't matter how well his gray suit fit those swim-enhanced shoulders that I remembered gripping beneath my fingertips. Whether or not his outfit was brand spanking new, making him look like he just walked out of a magazine, should not have even been on the horizon of my thoughts. His glance moved past me as if I was interrupting his wandering eyes. They didn't linger on me like mine had on him, and I cursed myself for staring, dropping my head back to the document I couldn't focus on, pretending that I wasn't aware of the steps he took as he left the associate's floor. At first, I'd rejected his offer to resume working with him, but after a couple days I'd called Melissa back to accept because other job offers weren't coming in like I'd hoped. Regardless of my exceptional merits and leaving law school with honors at only 21, recruitment week had been over, and the other job offers required the one thing I couldn't give them: experience in practicing law. I had asked Chris not to say anything to our parents because I knew they'd have been disappointed, so I couldn't go to them asking them for a job at their law firm. Besides, they wouldn't let me work there until I proved to the world that I was an exceptional lawyer in my own right, worthy to wear the Levine surname and walk down the Levine LLP hallways. That's why they worked me so hard, so that I could never fail. And I never had. Not until I was fired because I'd experienced such sweet pleasure that I lost my head. I'd never known any other thrill but beating my own best in tests throughout law school, achieving the academic goals I'd set for myself and that my parents emphasized. But at 21, I'd gotten to sample a few thrills. I'd experienced sex for the first time and I couldn't get enough of it, which eventually led to what happened between us. Jared first met me when I was dazed from newly found pleasure with Mario, and I couldn't shake the fact that perhaps he would have preferred meeting the girl I used to be. In fact, sometimes I missed that girl. Not that I was interested in trading in my newfound pleasures. I simply wished I could find a way to balance that part of me with this new me, because I took pride in my work. Jared could not be convinced of that, though. He disrespected my passion every chance he got. I told him he had stop if it was the last thing he did. And he did stop, at least to my face. Since he'd kicked me to the curb and I'd stormed out of his office without any intention to look back, he'd never uttered another syllable to me. It wasn't what I'd been expecting when I came back here. After working here for less than a week before he let me go, I couldn't mention Crawford and Beam on my resume, and I had no other work experience to talk about. That's why, as much as I'd told myself I never wanted to see his slimy, pompous face again, I'd accepted his offer to rehire me. Thinking it would give me a chance to rectify that lack of experience on my resume, I prepared myself to see him again. If he tried to offer reconciliation, I was prepared to reject him. I'd never soften myself to him again. At least that was what I wanted to believe. I was just there to work, and maybe partly to work near Mario Sharp and Anthony Whitlock again, but mostly just there to work and avoid Jared Crawford. I'd stepped back into the office on the first day, the second, the third, with my shoulders straight and my head held high, ready to refuse any of his attempts to discuss anything other than work with me.